Today I'll be showing you how to make these gorgeous and surprisingly inexpensive ornaments. They are completely customizable, making them perfect for any decor style while also being a really personal and unique DIY for this holiday season. Make sure that you're watching this video in HD. You can change your settings by clicking the small gear in the bottom right-hand side of this window. Any links to products or extra details can be found at makingitwithdanielle.com, which will be linked to below. For this project, you'll need a non-stick mat or a piece of parchment to work on, a small rolling pin to roll out your clay, a chopstick or any item that you can poke a hole with so that you'll be able to hang your ornament when it's finished, a thin metal spatula that'll just make it easier to move your ornaments around once you get going, cookie cutters that are actually going to cut out the shape of your ornaments, letter stamps. I get these metal ones that you can find at any hardware store, but you can also use rubber stamps or anything you like for the letters. The items that you're going to be imprinting your clay with, so you can use decorative trim, lace fabric. I have a pendant from a necklace here, anything that looks cool once pushed into the clay. And then your clay. I use a lightweight air dry clay just to make things really easy. You could also get one that gets baked in the oven if you want to save some time. The first thing you're going to do is roll out a small piece of your clay. I rolled mine out to 1/8 of an inch thickness because I was using that air dry clay, and obviously the thinner you roll it out, the faster it's going to dry. If you're using an oven baked clay, I'd go with about 1/4 of an inch thickness so that it doesn't crack when it's dried faster in the oven. Use your cookie cutter to make sure that the circle that you've rolled out is big enough for your ornament, and then play around with the item you're going to imprint the clay with to figure out the placement and which part of the item looks coolest imprinted into the clay. Once you've decided where you want it to go, you can press down on the clay with a light pressure. This is where you have to be careful. You don't want to push too hard so that it goes through the clay or gets stuck in the item that you're imprinting the clay with, but hard enough that the design is going to get pushed into the clay to really give it that wow factor when you're finished. Once you've imprinted the clay, you can put your cookie cutter down and place it exactly where you want it to go on your ornament. And then I like to push with hard pressure and wiggle back and forth a little bit to get clean edges. Then I remove any excess clay that's around the ornament, and then I take my metal spatula to just loosen things up and make sure that it's not stuck to the mat, because with the imprinting and the rolling out, sometimes it can get a little sticky. So just loosen it up and then you're ready to start stamping. You can stamp anything you want onto these ornaments. You can do Christmas song lyrics, your last name and the year. You can do people's first names and use them as tags for gifts instead of the little paper ones or the stickers that go on wrapping paper. Anything you like. The key here is to push with enough pressure that the letters get imprinted into the clay, but again, not too hard so that it doesn't go through the clay ornament or that you get that circle outline from the stamp itself. And like I said before, I'm using these metal stamps here, but I also used rubber ones that Martha Stewart makes with individual letters. You can mix uppercase and lowercase ones. You could do anything you want. So the possibilities are really endless with these letter stamps. And so just play around until you find something that you love. Once your ornament's stamped and ready to go, you can begin poking the holes in that you're going to hang your ornament from once it's dry. You can just poke one hole if you like, or you can poke two like I did here. It's really up to you, whatever you think looks best. And then I just like to loosen it up one more time with my thin metal spatula, and then you just set it off to the side to dry. For the ornaments that you imprint decorative trim or lace on, you're going to do things a little bit differently, but start out by rolling your clay and making sure that the circle is big enough for your cookie cutter to fit in. And then you can lay your trim or fabric over the clay, and you can do small strokes like this with the rolling pin, or if you find the fabric's moving too much, you can do one slow roll over the trim. Again, you're going to want to make sure that you're imprinting the fabric so you're pushing hard enough but not too hard that it all gets stuck in the fabric. Here you can see at the tip it didn't imprint quite enough, and you can go back and fix that later, so don't worry about it. Push down hard with your cookie cutter, wiggle back and forth again to get those clean edges, and then remove any of the excess clay around the outside. Then take your metal spatula, just like we did before, to loosen it up to make sure that it's not sticking, and then you can figure out the orientation that you want of your ornament. I thought the design looked cool at the top here, and again, you can just put the trim right over the clay again and push down in any spots that didn't quite get as good as you wanted it the first time around. Now you're ready to stamp. I find that with patterns that are a little bit more intricate, like this decorative trim was on this clay, you just need something simple for the stamping. So one word, a last name, something like that. Then you're gonna poke the holes. Again, you can do 1, 2 holes, however many you want to hang your ornament from when you're done. Loosen it up one more time and set it off to the side to dry. For the ornaments where you're using lace or any type of fabric, it's pretty much the same thing. You can make things really easy on yourself by cutting a small strip of the fabric and then using constant pressure, just do one long, slow roll. This will ensure that all those tiny little details in the lace will get imprinted into the clay, and then carefully and slowly peel the lace off of the clay. Then it's the same thing. Loosen it up, figure out your placement, push down hard, wiggle it back and forth a little to get those clean edges. And then for ones like these that have a lot of imprinting on the clay and a very small space for stamping, I'll poke my holes first to ensure that I don't run out of space later or have to poke holes through the lettering when I do it. Again, this is a small space for stamping, so I just did our last name and the year. Once your ornament has dried, you can leave it as is if you just want a white ornament, or if you just want to color in the lettering, you can take a thin tip Sharpie and just color in the lettering to make it stand out a little bit more. I like to paint mine with a metallic paint. The one I'm using here is a gold leafing paint. I'll put the link to the product on my blog, which will be linked to below. And what I love about it is that it has such great coverage that you only need one coat. A little bit of paint goes a really long way. It dries super fast, and it has this look like real metal, which I love. Make sure that you work your brush to get the paint in the little nooks and crannies of the imprint and the lettering and the holes that the ornament is going to hang from. And also remember to get the sides of your ornament because they will show on your tree as well. For all of the details on this craft as well as many other DIY projects, visit my blog makingitwithdanielle.com. I have added a Christmas tab to the top menu, and by clicking on it you will bring up all of my Christmas related posts. To help you better find what you're looking for, there are also options in the drop-down menu for cookies, decor, DIYs, and wrapping. By clicking on any of these options, you will be directed to a page that has narrowed down the posts to these corresponding categories. I will be posting many new crafts and recipes in the upcoming weeks in preparation for the holidays, so click on the Follow Me tab in my main menu to either subscribe via email or find me on social media so you can be the first to know.